is that?
It's my bone.
God damn it, Cartman! How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison? Holy shit, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Check My Balls right here on HamiMediaGroup.podbean.com, RapSellerReview.com, and RNRPodNetwork.com. I'm your host on the scene where the air is clean, and I'm lighting up green, your boy, MSG. I'm joined each and every week by my compadres, my amigos, my partners in crime, mi amigos, Mantequilla. Ladies and gentlemen, coming from the Southwest where marijuana was just legalized. But you can't smoke until March. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to his show. Scoop.
Damn it.
Damn it. Scooby Jackson. Scooby. Back for another edition, baby. How are we feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good on a Friday.
Somehow, this thing of Starburst that I got are all pink.
Okay. Interesting. Got the
This
pink deluxe.
bag of like 250 of Skittles and Starburst, all of the packs are pink. Every single one.
You know what they say. Two in the pink, one in the stank. You feel me?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That sounded like some Beetlejuice right there.
I'm bringing it in here. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up to the scene of our Colorado dreams, it's a man who lives about 9.8 kilix from me. That's miles for you. And he's running from the cops because what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Ladies and gentlemen, he's hard on the outside. As you can see his face there, but soft on the inside like a nice snuggly bear. He is Joe Vernola.
Yo, I told you that running from the cops thing in confidence, man.
Shut up. I didn't go into detail. You know, it was pretty vague.
What the hell?
You could have ran into the cops and you were like, "Hey, I like you," and they were like, "I like you too. Would you want to get a donut?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'd love to get a donut." And you guys sat down and talked about philosophy. I don't know.
Okay, maybe. No.
You see? Yeah. I'm just saying. Well, we're back, guys, for Are You to Wonder, Are You There listening? Because we're here and we asked ourselves, was anybody there when Jesus asked, "Are you there, God?" It's me, Jesus. As we are back for another edition. Back twice in the same week. We're going to give you a more detailed breakdown. We encourage you, if you like music and you like Christmas music, to go back and listen to the podcast exclusive. I Check My Bows, number 49, Mr. Hanky's Christmas Classics. It's a nice, short and sweet episode, but there wasn't many character developments or stories in that episode. It was just music. So if you like that, go check it out. It's holiday season. It's the holiday season. It's the holiday season. With a whoop-de-whoop and whippity-wop. I'm taking words up because I don't know the drop. I don't know the words. But I figured if I sing incomprehensible words, then that wouldn't make Joe mad, because then they wouldn't be real words, right, Joe?
It doesn't make me mad.
It makes you mad.
Okay, no.
It's so bad. Why are you upset, Joe?
You're making me mad now. Shut up, Brenda. Go back to the car.
I just watched that episode at work the other day. Anyway, episode synopsis. Are you there, God? It's me. As we mentioned, it's me, Jesus. It's the 16th episode, the second to last episode of season 3, and the 47th episode overall of South Park. It originally aired on December the 29th, 1999. Let's move tonight. Let's party like it's 1999. Stan, Kyle, and Kenny become jealous when Cartman finally gets his period. Jesus is under pressure as the millennium approaches to do something special. So before we get into the episode, guys, I wanted to ask you some questions. Hey, I got some questions. Yeah. So my first question to you is, do you remember, guys, where you were on December 31st, 1999? Now, before you answer that question, I'll give you my answer. I'll give you an opportunity to recall, reflect, prepare yourself. As a child, at that point, I would have been 11 years old. And I actually remember my parents took us up to Palmdale, California, because everyone was afraid at that point of Y2K. So my dad, in an effort just to be chill about it, he was like, why don't we go up to my friend's house, friend of the family member's house? We'll hang out there. If something were to happen, then we'd be in a place where we'd be safe. They have a bunker, food, blah, 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 all that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was like, look, we're really going, it's actually a New Year's Eve party as well. So it's kind of like a New Year's Eve party. Are we going to die party? So we went to the party, and I remember watching it. It was either because it was live or it was recorded Monday Night Raw or an episode of Raw. I remember Jericho coming out talking about Raw as Jericho. And then I also remember the New Year's Eve special. So I remember watching wrestling on New Year's Eve. And then I remember midnight coming around and nothing happened and everybody went about their day. But up to that point, man, for weeks and months on end, the media, even 11-year-old Matt still remembers the media hyping like, Y2K, Y2K, Y2K. The computer is going to change from 99 to 00. So when that happens, everything's going to break, bro. Nothing happened. Joe, do you remember where you were on December 31st, 1999?
Yeah, my parents didn't really party that much, so we stayed home. And by that time, we had already all figured, well, nothing happened in any of the other 20 some odd time zones where the watch is already flipped over. So nothing's really going to happen. But like at the same time, even though I had a permit, I was the one that was sent down to the gas station to wait in a long ass line to put gas in all the cars. And then we just, just in case. And then like my parents were friggin' homebodies and old people by the age of 30. So they just stayed home.
Scoop, December 31st, 1999. Where was 13-year-old Scoop?
I was in middle school. And I remember my dad was a big database programmer at this point, and I remember him saying nothing's gonna happen. The only type of technology that might be affected is like military grade radar systems or something. It was just some weird binary code that might make something throw itself off through a loop of time. That's all it really was. And I remember when my dad was making fun of everybody at the gas station, and it's like you're worrying about nothing. If nothing's gonna happen. And remember, I had a friend who started freaking out about it too. And my dad said, I'm not allowed to hang out with him because of how stupid he is.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. That's great.
Your dad laid down the law.
My dad laid down low like a low man.
Well, I also do recall that, there was a lot of different shows, that also talked about Y2K. It just wasn't just South Park, like King of the Hill.
Oh my God, that was such a good one.
It's one of the most iconic Y2K episodes.
That was hilarious.
Bobby willingly gives up Christmas because he buys into the hype. And I was like, damn, Bobby, what are you doing? You're giving up Christmas. I remember that kid.
I do remember, though, 1999 was a loose
toilet paper
year. It was a very loose year. Nobody really cared much that year. That's why they say party like it's 1999.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird, though, that back in 99, that King of the Hill with the freak out of Y2K, they even were talking about toilet paper. Man, toilet paper is such a huge commodity in our society, man. It's crazy.
You run out. What are you wiping with, homie?
Bro, you could just be like any of the other countries that have bidets and shit. Or fucking Gerard and the Filipinos, he was telling me they got the thing, I don't know, like the boya or the capa, I don't know what it's called, the little thing that you stand, it's like next to their toilet. It's like an actual little like vase filled with water that you use to clean yourself.
Where does that water go? Does that water just sit in there? Or is there like, a filter system?
Well, they fill that up with clean water and they leave that next to the toilet. And then when they go to clean themselves, they clean themselves and then they flush the toilet.
So you got to refill it?
Yeah, you would refill it, but that's a lot cheaper than buying toilet paper being,
That's like 10, 15 extra minutes.
To fill up a vase? To literally
pick a vase, go to
the sink,
clean yourself, dry yourself, clean out the vase, refill the vase, and then leave.
Well,
come on.
Okay.
That's time consuming.
Okay, let's go.
And I could
Let's
just
go deeper. Let's go
throw
deeper.
it away.
You think they take one little fucking coffee cup with them, bro? No, it's one giant fucking jug that they fill up that's like 5 gallons and sits there, and you take a little cup and you clean yourself.
Yeah, so now
You're not filling out that 5-gallon jug every time. You may be doing that once a week.
So you're not really cleaning yourself. You're using dirty ass water to clean yourself now.
How is that dirty
That's
ass water?
Bro, you just said. Oh, okay. Now I get it.
You fill it up once
So
a
you
week.
pour it
It's
in-
covered, and then it sits there. And then when you're ready to use it, you uncover it. You take the water. You clean yourself. You cover that other water thing. You flush the fucking toilet.
But
It's
you
not
have
that hard.
shit hands. You have
You're gonna wash
Yeah,
your
you
hands in the
put it in
sink.
the
You wash
water.
your hands with soap
That
and
doesn't
water
help
in the
if you
sink.
got a nick or something on your hand, dude.
You don't know how to fucking wash under your nails? That's probably why COVID's spreading then,
I'm
motherfuckers. God.
I'm talking about
can't
before
clean your
you-
hands.
cut on your
I'm talking
finger,
about
bro.
before you even
Cut?
wipe your
How
ass.
does this cut have
scratch.
anything to do with shit?
A scratch or something, and you're using them hands. to
Now
clean
you're
your butt,
talking.
bro.
Now you're cherry picking other things and change the conversation, motherfucker. I'm talking about washing your hands. If you have shit under your nails or you have shit on your hands, you can clean
Fuck,
it.
dude, washing your fucking hands after having a cut on them and getting bacteria in the cut.
We're not talking
isn't gonna
about cups. We're
fucking
talking
change
about
anything.
shit. Why are you changing the fucking conversation?
It's not, bro. You think
You know
that
what?
washing your hands?
Were we
is going
talking
to
about
100%
washing your ass for
protect
shit?
you?
Were we not talking about washing your ass for shit? Was that not the whole basis of this? Yes. Then you start talking about fucking cuts and other things. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. We're talking about washing your hands.
water.
You're not. Well, water is better. It's abundantly coming from the pipes versus of having to rely on paper and manufacturers. That's the whole like conundrum of people going out and getting crazy. Fuck, changing the fucking thing to cuts and bacteria. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about shit on your hands. You wash your hands. Period. You don't wash your hands anyway. That's nasty. Are you there, God? It's me. Jesus. Let's go into the episode here. So Stan, Kyle, and Kenny discuss their plans for New Year's Eve that leads into the new millennium. Cartman rushes up to explain that he's finally gotten his period.
You guys, guess what? What, fat ass? I've become a man. I started puberty, you guys. What? No, you didn't. Yes, I really did. How do you know? Well, because yesterday, I got my period. You got your what? My period, you guys. You see, there comes a time in every child's life when they grow up and nature starts to take its course by having you bleed out your ass for a few days every month.
Since he has bled out of his anus. Now, disbelieving him, the boys ask a female about it. And she explains they have, it's true. Like, she's like, it's that time of the month where women bleed down there. It's good. What do you think of this opening?
The period is pretty funny, but like, how do they not know that it's not a guy thing? Like my 10-year-old and younger, like they understand, but I don't. I want to know where their parents
Is
fucked
it because
up.
we're guys? Do you think it's because we're guys we don't find it as funny? We all go quiet.
I don't know.
I mean, should we have gotten a female to get a female perspective on the show? Like, do women joke about their period as guys joke about their poops and farts and shit? Like, bro, I took the biggest shit ever. It was like, like, do girls go like, oh my God, I had like the biggest flow. This flow was on the go,
They more complain about it if I remember anything from my last relationship. They don't joke about it. They just complain about it. And from what I've been like, the heavier it is, the more hormonal or whatever.
You were involved, as you mentioned, with a litany of different females growing up. Is the period something that is joked about or funny? Yep.
What?
I said, weren't you? You had a lot of sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of sisters. I said, growing up, was the period funny? Like, was that ever something that was joked about or made funny?
There's nothing to really joke about because, for one, they're always in pain. and they're horrible people on their period, and there's really no joke. The joke is the period.
Yeah, you just said there's nothing to joke about, and then made a period joke.
It was the joke.
I don't. That's the joke. You suck, McBain.
That being said, we then outside Jesus' house now, the media and the residents of town have arrived and are talking about how Jesus will do something for the year 2000. So they're all hanging out, media cameras out there. I'm outside here as we're waiting to see if Jesus is going to speak to us all about the brand new millennium. And then, like, they kind of like period like a Groundhog Day. If Jesus comes out and sees a shadow and he's not afraid, that means we're gonna have 2,000 more years of love and prosperity.
Thanks, Tom. It is indeed 4 days until the new millennium, and hundreds, if not thousands, of people have come from all over the world seeking Jesus here at his house in South Park. Everyone is giddy with anticipation for Jesus to come out because, as we all know, if Jesus comes out of his house and is not scared by his shadow, it means the next 1,000 years will be full of peace and love.
So Jesus opens the door and he comes out. Like, oh, little guy's coming out. Looks like he's a little scared. As he peeks his head out the window. And, as he peeks his head out, he looks around and wonders what's going on. And he's like, hey, what's everybody here for? And they kind of all speak to him and tell Jesus, well, it's 1999, the new millennium. And Jesus is like, yeah, so? And they're like, well, what do you mean? So what are you going to, what's going to happen? And Jesus is like, well, I don't know. And he's like, well, we thought you knew. And so they are adamant. Their demand here is they want to see God. They said, we followed God for 2,000 years blindly. We deserve to see him. I mean, is that not a fair assessment of religion, Copa?
I think it was every 3,000 years.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You want to go ahead? Every 3,000 years?
Yeah, I think because in the Book of Mormon, they talk about a 3,000-year period. And that's when, so I guess 3,000, the year 3,000 is when God's going to come down. For me, it's all convoluted nonsense.
Yeah, same here. Like, the Catholics had something concerning the millennium. It's like they do something every 1,000 years or some stupid crap like that. But this was about the time I was falling out of Catholicism too, so I don't really remember it much.
Well,
And
I don't know. I find it interesting. That's all.
yeah.
The people were, I didn't know that I guess that the purveyor of the religion, if you will, is supposed to appear in some form or fashion. In this episode, we'll get to that whatever fucking animal you want to call this. Like, okay, this is what I've dissected, and we'll get to it later, but it's got like rhino feet, it's got a cat body, and some sort of reptilian face, like either like a snake or a lizard, because he's got the tongue.
See, I thought it was a hippo face with a snake tongue.
Hippo face with the
Yeah, it's definitely like a hippo face.
okay.
Like a
So
hippo
it's
head
like
with cat ears,
so it's like a hippo
like a
cat
monkey body.
No, I didn't get the monkey body. I got that was a cat body. I thought that was pretty easy. Maybe monkey tail.
Yeah, cat tail, cat ear.
Okay, it was cat tail. Yeah, so that's what I figured. It was basically like a cat body.
Hippo head,
with-
cat body with dog legs, cat
No,
ears.
cat.
and
Those
hippo
look
head.
like cat. Those look like cat. The paws, they look like cat paws.
Yeah.
They were small.
Okay.
They were dainty. You know.
Yeah,
what I
I'm
mean?
looking at it right now. It looks like it's mostly cat, and then
Yeah, it's a cat and hippo.
Cat,
It's, I guess a snake or like lizard tongue or something. I guess maybe.
What did you expect me to look like, my son?
right.
We'll get to that, but it's ridiculous. So now Jesus then goes ahead and he steps back inside his house, now thinking about how he can make God appear. So he asks if God will appear before him. So he goes up and he speaks to God and asks God, hey, can you come down? I think I'm really starting to make a comeback. Would you mind coming down and appearing for the new millennium? And God says no. So taken aback by this now, Jesus comes up with another plan, comes back down, and he says that he's tomorrow night, 1999. We're going to have the biggest blowout ever with Rod Stewart, and you're all invited.
Now, this is where I actually had to Google Rod Stewart.
Really?
Now, I didn't know he was the one that sang "So You Think You're Sexy." or You Think I'm Sexy, or whatever that song is. I didn't know that was him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Rod
Rod
Stewart.
Stewart, man.
Rod
But
Stewart.
they portray him way too old in this, though, because he's only 75.
Oh, they were totally bragging on him, dude. Of course.
So for those that were watching the video, that was not like me acting out a spit take. I really almost spit my drink when this one said what he just said.
Listen, man, I grew up in a house where we listened to Bob Marley and the Wailers, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and AC/DC.
Oh,
Like,
so both your parents had taste. See, it was only my dad. My mother listened to all that pop crap, which is
the funny thing, my dad listened to Bob Marley and that type, and my mom was what listened to Pink Floyd and the Beatles. So it was like my mom was more of like the acid type,
Yeah,
tripping balls, and then my dad was more of like the stoner, listening to chill reggae.
mhm.
And it took me until I was about 22, 23 when I was in the military. I was like, whoa, dude, was my dad a stoner?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my dad listened to definitely more of that style of music: Pink Floyd, Wings, Simon and Garfunkel,
Ooh,
Kansas,
Simon and Garfunkel.
Boston. What is it? There's
America.
Phil Collins, James
My dad
Taylor,
didn't know
Elton
all of
John,
America.
Bread, The Doors, The Styx. Yeah, and then of course, as he's gotten older, he became like a big Jack Johnson fan.
Yeah, my dad's more into like folky blues kind of.
I got my dad into
like,
Steel Pulse though. I got my dad into Steel Pulse.
Nice.
Still got Steel
Some
Pulse,
old
man.
school right there, boy.
He was listening to it and he was like, "Oh wow, this is really good, son." I was like, that's what I'm saying. Why would you think I'm listening to all this music? So yes, that was 1999's Rod Stewart. Other than that, I wasn't a big Rod Stewart fan. I'd listen to a lot of Rod Stewart. I don't listen to a lot of Rod Stewart now, but Jesus is hyped. He's excited that he booked Rod Stewart. So, and he's gonna hopefully make his comeback. So we go back to Kenny's house now. At the house of Kenny. Kenny is in his bathroom. So Kenny now discovers. Kenny now discovers that he's bled out of his anus, and he gets off the toilet, and he's all like, "Woohoo!" Right? He's all excited that he bled out of his ass. And then while that's going on, we then clip over really quick to the news reporter, and the news reporter reveals that a colon infection has spread across the town, infecting some young children, and that some of these children are bleeding out of their anus. That with the proper antibiotics, there's nothing to worry about. So that's what's really happening. Obviously, these kids are bleeding out their ass, and they're boys, obviously, or we're in 2020, so I have to be politically correct. They're cisgender male, so they bleed out of their anus. You can't bleed out of your anus in that regard. You have a male anatomy that you were born that way with. I know, but I'm just saying. I was
gonna say, if gender's a choice, isn't sexuality a choice? Because if you're choosing what your gender is, aren't you choosing what you're attracted to?
You're non-binary cisgender male fallopian tube, touch my body, let's high five guy. How about that?
I identify as clear glue. So
well, if that's what you want to be, Elmer, then that's what you are. All right.
Damn straight, motherfucker.
I don't care what you be.
Now,
just do you, honey.
But is it safe to say, if a news report like that today came out, say for instance, we're just chilling, all of a sudden, breaking news, and it flashes across the screen, a new colon bacteria is causing you to bleed out the anus in young children. Wouldn't there be like a mass hysteria? Don't you think?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it depends on the amount of infection rate and how bad is it. Because as they talk about here on the news, the guy readily goes, with proper antibiotics, there's nothing to worry about. So it sounds like it's more of it's food, something the kids are eating, and maybe that's being passed around in the town or something like that. So maybe from the school or something in the grocery market that only affects their colon and their body, so they can't digest it properly. So maybe it's making them bleed. I'm just using basic body digestion diagnosis here. I'm not a doctor or anything.
Or did split the population in half too? It's not a real bacteria. It's called you bleed out your anus. Yes, it is. I think that would happen too. I think it would split.
in Cartman's case, we have to obviously recognize the fact that Cartman and food makes him bleed out his ass, as we find out in Chipotle.
Are you tired of bleeding in your underwear? And you need to pull away.
Wait,
Boy,
I
it's
don't.
Joy Hayes here.
My question is so after you had Chipotle the first time and you bled out your ass, why did you go back and eat it again?
Right? Like,
Doesn't he talk about how
That's
delicious
Kyle's
it is?
exact speech. It's
Yeah.
very good, Cat. We all don't have golden rectums. We all don't have golden rectums.
Golden rectum.
So in this case, Rod Stewart now back at his house, which we'll get there in a second. But Kenny now that he's got his period, bro. He's all excited, so he runs to Cartman, who's like in the aisles, like searching for like tampon. This massive has got extra flow.
Come on, Cartman, we have to make plans for New Year's. Hold your horses, guys. This is very important for mature people. Let's see. Offers complete protection during heavy flow. Let's see. Maximum stoppage of vaginal chunks. Ooh, this one's got wings, you guys.
And
This
Stan
has got
Kyle,
wings.
right? And Stan Kyle's like, "Come on, dude, can we get the fuck out of here and decide what we're gonna do for New Year's Eve?" And then Kenny runs in right away, and Kenny's like, "I got my period! I got my period!" And he's all excited. So now Kenny's got his period. So they're all talking about that we're going to be mature and we're going to hang out and we're going to make plans for New Year's. So at this point, Kyle goes home and he starts talking with his little brother. And it's like asking Ike for advice, like on what he should do. And apparently the advice he gets from Ike is to lie. Just, you're right. I should just go ahead and lie. And I could just say I got my period. Not like they're going to actually check. Now, Kyle being the smartest kid here, like in this whole episode, that's probably the smart play here. Just pretend you got it, whatever.
Yeah.
Because who's like, but I feel like if that was the case today, in reality, someone would be like, "Nah, show me."
Now, oh yeah, definitely.
I'd be
And
like, if I try to join you guys are bleeding out the ass. And yeah, guys, check it out, stop bleeding out my ass. Like, show me. But,
I mean, actually, I don't know if I'd question, to be quite honest. I don't know if I want to see you bleeding out your ass, to be quite honest. To be real.
Hi, we're friends here, aren't we? God.
I put this over. I'll touch your ass. I'll touch your ass, but I don't want to see the inside of your ass, my man. And I don't want to get in it either. That being said, as we had Roma on a couple weeks ago, as I mentioned, I watched that Lorena documentary, and it's on Amazon. Okay, so that Lorena documentary, it was about the chick who chopped off the dude's pee-pee.
I was gonna say, is that about Lorena Bobbitt?
Bobbitt, yeah. As I mentioned it back then, it was visual, bro. Like they showed pictures back of then, and you saw
cut it off and threw it out the window, right?
Yeah, she cut off and she like chucked it over the top of her head into a field, and then later she told the cops, and then they found the pee-pee. So he got his pee-pee back, but like she chopped it, and like they showed pictures of with him without his pee-pee. It looked so weird, bro. It was so weird. Also, I need to correct myself. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about video game stuff on Amazon, and I mentioned a game that came out before Doom, and I couldn't remember. That game was Wolfenstein. I was talking about Wolfenstein was the original game that came out before Doom, because those are the same creators. So
yeah,
I wanted to correct
they're
myself.
both id Software.
Right, exactly. So I just wanted to make sure I corrected myself there, because I couldn't remember, and we were both like, was it Quake? Was it the next game after that? But
why did she cut off his penis? That's what I want.
She cut off his penis because she alleges that he sexually abused her, and she got to a mental breaking point that I guess she had a mental breakdown, and she was trying to, I guess, chop off the thing that was hurting her. So that's what she alleged, and that's what the courts found. In fact, nobody actually was found guilty in either case. He was not found guilty of raping her, and she was not found liable or held in contempt for chopping off his penis. It was just a very fucked up relationship.
I'm like, bitch, you cut off my dick. What the fuck?
Yeah, but like apparently he had raped her and abused her for years on end, though, bro. So she was pushed to the breaking point. Like abused, mentally abused, and she was from a different country. So like in her country, like staying with the family was part of her, you know what I mean? Her culture and all that stuff like that. So like, and I'm sure that probably happens in other cultures. and it's probably still accepted a lot there. So it's probably hard for her to understand and break that wheel as well. Recognize, wait a minute, I'm in a country that says you don't have to accept that, right? And then when she realized that mentally, that's when she probably started to think about different thoughts on how to get out of there. In fact, she talks about, and we're going on a tangent here, but she talks about how she, was like trying to move out and shit, but apparently he was still raping her. So she broke down, chopped off his pee-pee. She turned herself in. So, I mean, she walked right into the police station and was like, yeah, I chopped off my husband's penis. So, bro.
Yeah, I chopped off his pee-pee.
Because first she went to her boss's house, and then after she talked to her boss and got calmed down, then she turned herself in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And she explained what happened. Anyway, guys, back to South Park here. Anyway, as I was talking about, this is South Park here, because we got on that talk about colon infections. That's how this whole topic started, by the way. So after discovering that Kenny has a period, Kyle now lies about his period. So, but the saddest part here is Stan is so disheartened when Kyle reveals that he got his period. He's like, hey, I got my period, and you just hear his voice. Oh, you did?
You guys, I got my period too. Wow, cool. You did?
Now Stan realizing he's going to be left by himself, and even Cartman shows a little bit of remorse here. He's like, don't worry about it, Stan. Everyone just goes through maturity and puberty at different points. Like, he wasn't really cynical here. I know he smiled when he walked away, but I felt like Cartman was at least trying to be comforting to Stan here in this situation. Like, he hates Kyle. He hates Kyle, but he hates Kyle the most. He doesn't hate everybody else the most. You know what I'm saying?
It seemed to have a tinge of sarcasm to me. But
it had a tinge, but it was a little comforting. I was sad for Stan. I think we've all been in that situation where you felt left out in a group or something like that. You're like, oh, you're gonna do
Friends
that.
take off with that, Jim. You're just like,
right? Go over to their house and everyone's playing Pokemon, and you're like, hey, do you want to go do something else? No one wants to do that. Everyone just wants to play Pokemon. Might be a true story. Joe,
might be a true story.
Joe, if you want my body, go on and touch my body.
If you want my body and you think I'm sexy.
Oh, I was thinking of taco, burrito, that. Come on and touch my body. Or no, that's the episode where. That's I don't know. Come on and touch. When Cartman has the video of or when Butters has a video of Cartman dressed up as Britney Spears. Yeah. Come on and touch my body. Come on, Dusty, touch my body. And you want my body.
You're a fucking fat. You're
a fucking little queer, aren't you?
Yeah.
So anyway, back to this episode as we continue to get off because we love South Park and we go on for hours. So after Kyle says he's got his period, and now Stan's left alone. So it's pretty sad here. You kind of feel bad here, right? So Stan now is disheartened and he wants to hang out with them, but the others form a mature people only. In other words, people who have bled out of their anus. So now Stan then goes to Chef for advice and tells him that he knows someone who hasn't had, their period while everyone else is. And Shep believes, at first, she's like, hey, is it, it must be your sister, Shelly. Oh, you mean little Wendy? And Stan's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's just, they're not getting their period. And Shep's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and sing you a song about the menstruation cycle. And I got to tell you, as a man, the song is accurate. It's very accurate.
Very accurate.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Come on, baby. And then
something about Chef that it's like, and all of his songs are almost always right.
Yeah, because then he goes into it and then he goes, no, baby. No, baby. I don't want, watch out for the bedspread. Yeah, you know what? How about I call you next week?
Next week.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I can't speak to you what you guys have done, but I have been in a situation. Now, the only reason why I was in the situation because the girl didn't tell me, but we
all have our red wings. Shut up.
We all
got them. We all got them. We all got them. We don't talk about them.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. We can talk about it. It's whatever. It's 2020. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna talk about the grotesque nature of it. I'm just saying. The girl I was with, she didn't tell me. So like when it happened, I was like, what the fuck? It looks like a fucking murder zone in here.
Yeah. Fuck.
I never saw her again after that. But like, it looks like a fucking murder because she didn't tell me, and it just happened, and I was just like, and when you're into it, I thought like it was just her like excited, like I didn't realize.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's like extra wet, and you don't realize it. And
Yeah, you don't
put it on
realize
your
it.
drawers, and you're like,
Oh shit!
No, bro,
Bro,
I got up and I was covered. I was like, I fucking look like I murdered you just now. Anyway, so I don't want to
what's
get
it
more.
called when you get it on your?
Oh God, no,
Is that a thing?
no.
Is this a thing? Oh God, it's a thing. Time to Google.
Oh, they might call it a cherry pie. Anyway, let's move on. Bye, Miss American Pie. Throw your period in my face and then you know you will lie. Don't tell your parents that you bled everywhere. I said this will be the night that I'm in prayer.
Did I fly?
I've got no drawers or underwear.
I was going for the Warren
It was improv.
pie. That was good improv.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Moon mask. It's called a moon mask.
Oh, you fucking disgusting asshole. You looked at that.
I Google it, and it's like the first thing that comes up. What happens if you put period blood on your face? I'm like, oh God. And it's like, in theory, menstrual blood has many properties that are beneficial to the skin. Now I can't stop reading.
It's like a car wreck.
Oh God.
You don't want to look, but you can't look away.
Oh God. It's like that when we were kids and you watched that video of the super ridiculous Olympics where people would do stupid shit online, like tying their penis together down with weights and shit. Stupid things we looked up when we were kids. Don't lie, you looked that shit up.
What was it? What were they called? The Darwin Awards?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when me and my dad looked those up and we found this one dude that won the award for chopping off his own head.
Yeah.
So back to period.
Rotten.com had some
Rotten.com
stuff
Right.
too.
Orgrish.com.
Newgrounds.com. That was pretty gnarly too. All right, so back to period blood. Chef basically explains in his song, and obviously, I think I'll call you next week. I better call you next week. So Stanton now still upset because he doesn't get the help, and he's like, "No, I'm upset. All my friends are getting period." Blah blah blah. And Chef's like, "Damn, I must have missed the whole middle part here."
And that's my song about the menstrual cycle, Stan. Did that clear things up for you?
So what you're saying is this person shouldn't be bummed because everybody has their period at a different time.
Is that what I said?
But it's not fair. It's not fair that one day you're on top, you're the coolest kid in town, and then the next day you're at the bottom again because everyone has blood coming out of their ass but you. And if I can't menstruate, then by God, I'm not going to sit around and be the only periodless 8-year-old boy. I'm going to do something about it.
Whoa, I must have missed a whole middle part there.
So
I love how Chef's like, maybe you need to explain this to me from the start.
Right. So Stan, now upset, goes to Dr. Mephisto next and explains to Dr. Mephisto. He goes, "What if someone never went through puberty?" And Dr. Mephisto goes, "Never went through puberty?" And Stan says, "Yeah." And Dr. Mephisto's like, "Well, who didn't go through puberty?" And Stan's like, "Well, my dad."
How fucked up is that? It's like, well, first of all, Stan, you wouldn't be here if your dad didn't go through
Not
puberty.
necessarily adoption. Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
He wouldn't have the mustache.
That's true. He wouldn't have his mustache.
Did he have the mustache? Because all I saw was a goatee right here at this point. I thought he was. I don't think he had a mustache.
No, not Stan, his dad. If Randy never went through puberty, you wouldn't have facial hair.
Oh, maybe it's fake. We don't know. We don't know at this point in the show. Do we? Has Randy's mustache been ripped off or shaved? Have we seen Randy without a mustache?
Has he ever pulled on?
Serious.
Have you seen Randy ever touch or pull on his stash?
I
like
have.
my good boy Joe here.
In the later episodes.
Just for anyone curious.
No, in the later episodes, like I've seen him be like or he's like touched himself. Like in the cooking episodes, for sure. You've seen him catch him. Like he might be like fast or something, or like whatever.
British cafeteria.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, fucking please, yeah.
Oh god, you based the shit out of that chicken. Glaze the shit out of that turkey leg. Oh God, he makes making food so sexual. Crayfish. I need my crayfish. I need my crayfish, Sarah. So,
The phone line, the Food Network home line, phone line that he got.
what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm just doing some. I'm making some chicken right now. Glaze up. Are you gonna pan fry that and then put it in the oven? Of course, silly. Oh God, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh fuck yeah. Randy Marsh, are you calling that Food Network hotline again? No,
Sharon. It's porn.
no,
line.
John. Okay, back to this episode. Sorry, and the guys, we're kind of going off on tangents. You can tell, not one of our favorite episodes here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Stan goes to Dr. Mephisto, as we explained, says that his dad doesn't have hormones or doesn't have ever went through puberty. Dr. Mephisto gives him some hormone tablets to give to his father. Stan takes the whole bottle outside in hopes to gain his period. It does not work, but Stan the next day has now developed facial hair, and he goes, "Whoa, dude, I got boobs," and his voice has broken. Meanwhile, while this is going on, the goddesses are now having their meeting. And they're in Cartman's clubhouse. I was happy to see the Cartman's clubhouse made it, or at least it was rebuilt. And Cartman's got his clubhouse, right? So they're in there, they're hanging out, talking about their quote unquote periods. First thing they talk about is like boys. Then they ask Kyle, "How's your period going?" And Kyle's like, "My period is going swimmingly." And then Cartman's like, "Yeah."
Yes,
Carrie's like, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, man.
His period is going swimming.
Woo.
So now at this point in the clubhouse, the boys are, like we mentioned, they're hanging, as you mentioned too. Stan finally does show up, and Stan's like, "Hey, asshole."
Guys.
He's like, "What are we going to do on New Year's Eve?" And he's like, "Well, we and our families are going to Las Vegas to celebrate Rod Stewart. And we're going to do adult stuff and blah, blah, blah. But I guess you could come and hang out with the kids." This pisses off Stan. So at this point inside the clubhouse, they're continuing to talk more about their stuff and their periods and Cartman and blah, blah, blah. Kenny keeps interrupting, and eventually Kenny dies. He explodes because he put a tamp.
This is real. It's called toxic shock syndrome. You leave a tampon in too long, it toxically shocks your body and can kill you. Legitimately.
Well, Kenny did.
Or make you very, very sick.
He puts the tampon up his rectum, and due to all the blood and the bacteria or his feces not being able to extrait, he plugged himself up and blew up from the inside. He died.
Now,
nobody said in this episode, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny, you bastards." This was like one of the first episodes because Stan wasn't in there. So Stan's always got to initiate the, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny." Yeah, and then somebody usually says, "You bastards." Even in the one where he doesn't say it, Kyle goes, "We're not friends," with Steve and Gorak.
Yeah.
Even in that one, like he still says it, but like without Stan in this scene, no one initiated the, "Oh my God, killed Kenny." Interesting.
Now, is this Kenny doesn't stay dead at this point, right? This isn't where he stays dead for a while, right?
No, he doesn't die until before the ladder episode.
Yeah.
Where were you when they built them ladders to hell?
Now I listen to his song. It's a real song. Where were you?
Yeah, it's a real song.
Oh, that's
Where were you? That's why they were making fun of him, because he was capitalizing on
9/11.
It's like he was capitalizing, pulling on the heartstrings of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And using that to monetize.
Fuck Alan Jackson.
Fuck Alan Jackson. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that right now. Let's continue on this episode because Jesus goes and meets another celebrity. He meets Rod Stewart. So he's hanging out, talking to the manager, and he goes, "Rod Stewart's really excited to be on board with you, Jesus. Now, just a couple things we're gonna have to figure out a little more. Rod Stewart's kind of a big deal, so we might have to get a little bit more money out of you, but we'll talk about that later. Come on in, Rod Stewart." So Rod Stewart comes in.
He's a veteran.
Right. Rod Stewart comes in. He's in a wheelchair, super old. Jesus like, "I'm so excited to have you play." And Rod Stewart's like, and then he's like, "What's that?" What was that? You pooped your pants? Nurse, it appears Mr. Rod Stewart has pooped his pants.
Hey, Rod, great to see you. The folks are sure glad you're playing. It's really given them a lot of faith in me again. I'm sure that together we can make this Millennium Party the best New Year's bash ever.
Poop pants.
What?
Poop pants.
Poo pants?
Poop pants.
You pooped your pants?
Poop my pants.
Oh. Nurse, Mr. Stewart has apparently pooped his pants.
Again?
Now, what did we say about holding in Mr. Dookie? So she wheels Mr. Rod Stewart out. So they've already set the precedence here that Rod Stewart sucks. Already making fun of him, right? So at the event, Rod Stewart is on stage, or they introduce him. And now, coming out to the stage, do you think I'm sexy, Mr. Rod Stewart? So he comes out and goes, dun, and then the band starts playing, and it goes, dun, 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 dun.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun. I think you just see the nurse come out, bam, bam,
Start changing him and
bam,
shit.
bam. People in the crowd are like, "This sucks. This is horrible."
We drove all the way out of Las Vegas for this.
Yeah, they had also been on. There was a news report where Jesus was in his hotel and Jesus is like praying to God, right? And there's a news report and like it says like, well, I expect God to show up. Jesus wouldn't disappoint us. So everyone thinks that God's going to show up. And Jesus said, "Come on, God, you going to show up? Or please, God, show up." And Stan's also praying to God, "Please, God, let me get my period. Why won't you answer my prayers, God?" Stan's still trying to get his period in the midst of all this, and all these things are eventually going to collide here. So at the event, Rod Stewart poops his pants. He cannot play. The audience becomes furious now and prepares to crucify Jesus once more. And now, together, hanging out, sulking, both Stan and Jesus begin to talk. And Stan walks up to Jesus.
God hates me.
Yeah, and he says to Jesus, "Why does God hate me?" And Jesus, "God doesn't hate you." And Jesus says, "Well, I
crucified again."
And Stan says, "Well, I pray to him, and he doesn't answer my prayers." And Jesus has to explain to him, "Well, if God were to answer everyone's prayers, then you wouldn't have any opportunity to learn and grow as a human individual." Like, I do appreciate this sentiment here in the episode because I think the realism of the words is true. Like, the meaning of life is learning and overcoming problems. Like, that's realistically what our lives are about, is living, coexisting, and learning and how to overcome those problems in like the simplest form, right? So in the most broad terms. So I feel like that kind of message was nice here. But Jesus himself explains to Stan, if God took and did everything you wanted or appealed to every prayer you did, that you would have nothing to learn and you would never be able to grow as an individual. Once he realizes that, then it dawns on him, that's why God would not show up at this party. He's like, "Oh, that's why you won't show up at my party, because you wanted me to learn how to do this on my own." And Jesus realized he shouldn't have relied on God to make himself popular once more, and that he's going to have to do it himself. Now, suddenly, as that's happening and the crowd's getting ready to crucify him, they're all amped up. A beam of light happens, shining down. Comes that. And then there's like this one guy in the crowd. He's like, "Oh my God, what is that?" I'm not going to lie. I memorized that point 4 or 5 times. That exact voice, just like, what is that?
Whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that? Now, just to make a little comment about what Jesus says here. This is kind of what what was I? I think when I first saw this, I was around 15 or 16 when I actually took it to heart. When he starts saying stuff like that is when I started to look at this and my religious views is, why do I constantly have to thank God for all of the hard work that I've done? He wasn't down here holding my hand, helping me through this. I got the strength and all of the stuff that I needed to get through my life by myself. God was never here holding my hand. Why do I have to thank him for the house over my head? Why do I have to thank him for the hard work that I put in day after day? Why do I have to thank him for the stuff that he didn't do that I did myself? I don't understand. That's what helped me. And when Jesus explains that if God did do all that, you wouldn't learn or you wouldn't. So basically, you don't need God. More or less.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like as I tell people, look, I don't believe in the terminology of the word God. Like, because what we have a society have done is we have dictated and added a literary or a figurative, political, morality type of definition or association with that word. So
Bro, they
because of
found.
the
Go ahead.
so because of the societal detriment that the word God and religion has caused for society, as we as people as itself, I don't like that word God. So I don't say I believe in God. Do I believe in some higher form of energy at the end of the universes that started something? Yeah, I do. Do I believe that me praying to that thing is going to like improve my daily life and activities? Not necessarily. However, I will contest prayer is a form of affirmation, and I do believe in affirmation. So if prayer helps you, then I'm not going to hate on it.
And I just kind of follow the John Lennon school of God as a concept. If you listen to the song God by John Lennon, I mean, he is the walrus, so he's got to be wiser than I. But that was a joke. But like the song God by John Lennon on, I think it was on Double Fantasy, is pretty in line with how I feel about all of it.
Honestly, I think that the Bible and all of those religious texts were some of the first science fiction ever wrote, and were meant to be entertainment or like stories to help keep you as a better person, not
They're
make
like-
you
Well, I mean,
extremist.
the notion it's, I mean, the basic anagram, or I guess the shortened version is Bible, right? Which is a basic instructions before leaving Earth. It's not supposed to be literal freaking instructions. These are basic stories that have been exaggerated, as you mentioned, for entertainment purposes, but at the root of it have meaning and morality that you can use in your day-to-day activity. So even like I don't hate on the Bibles. Like I'll never hate on religious texts, because I think there is like an attempt for some good a notion or good type of way of life for maybe someone. Now the literal taking of it, how people do, and now it's escalated into territorial and world wars, that's just ridiculous.
They're almost like Aesop's fables.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one takes literal the Greek myths and God, those texts like
Right.
religion.
And like those are older than the Bible. It's like
Yeah.
Greek mythology and that type of stuff was much older, around for a lot longer, and then all
And
of a
that's a
sudden
lot cooler.
Christianity-
It's a lot cooler to
Yeah,
read.
a lot fucking cooler, dude. A lot fucking cooler.
I kind of wish that I kind of
Christ.
wish it was real.
Right? Fucking Thor and Odin, hammer, anvil of life, and
Hercules.
shit.
Hercules.
And then the people writing the Bible were basically just the equivalent of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster when they made Superman the all power. You know what? We're just gonna take every superhero's power and we're gonna name him God. He is not a god.
So what's your name? What's your name? God. Okay, Mr. God. Well, I was gonna say even further, like if you think about like just like, you know, the notion itself of how we have to like we have to like people like shift their whole lives around religion. You know what I mean? Now, like, I'm not gonna hate on it to a point where like if you need that, like especially like if you're in a third world country and like religion brings you hope, brings you community, and let's say you do get food from it, as they mentioned in Starving Margin. Remember, reading your Bible plus Jesus equals food. Like, so like if that's how you're getting your food, and if you're somehow listening to this podcast, I'm not gonna hate on you. But like I hope that you're not like letting your religion define you as a person, because there's more to you as an individual. Let religion be a part of what you are, and let that be something that you maybe brings joy to you, but don't let yourself be defined by one thing, you know.
Let religion be a foundation for your morality.
It's a tool.
Not your
Religion should be a
personality.
tool. It's a tool, right? You know what I mean? It should
Yeah.
be something you should be able to reach into your toolbox and use. It helps. Maybe like, and like I said, people like the community aspect. That's why people go to church. Like that's what like I've learned over the last couple of years. Like I never really understood. I'm like, why do people go to church? I don't understand this. It's dumb and stupid. You sit there, you pray. Therefore he is here and he is there. Oh, Jesus loves me. Like, you know,
This
like
is gonna, this is going to be a little off topic, but you bring up the word community and everything. So I would highly suggest everybody who's listening in YouTube as well, if you haven't already, listen to David Letterman's interview with Dave Chappelle. It is so fucking good. That episode, it will open your eyes to certain things about everything going on around you. And it's like Dave Chappelle says he's not a leader, but at this point, with the way that he speaks and talks in this interview, he's kind of a leader, dude. So I would. It's funny that this made me think of that. So.
But yeah, like I was saying, as far as like religion, like in the craziness of it, like I don't get going to church for that. But I get why people do. They like the community. Maybe it's a way of socializing and meeting people who they need to meet, because that's like the only way they feel like they can go out and meet people. But you know, if that's how they do it, then more power to you guys. I know we went off kind of on a topic here, but the concept of this episode is about Jesus and God. So I feel like at least like we're staying on topic toward the content of the episode itself.
It was
God comes
not off topic.
It was a tangent, yeah. It was a tangent. So God does show up, and as we mentioned, he looks like a cat, rhino, snake, or something. You know what I mean?
Something going on here.
Yeah.
Father, you came.
Now look upon me, my children, and know me. Be ye not afraid. Blessed art thou, my children.
That's God? Yea, 'tis my Father, the Creator. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Well, yeah, but that?
What did you expect me to look like, my son?
Well, not like that.
He's Snake Rhino Catman. I don't know, whatever you want to call him.
Kind of flip, yeah.
So, and Mr. Garrison freaks out. What? That's God?
What did you expect me to look like, my son?
I don't know, but not that.
Well, I will answer one question.
So everyone's all like contemplating, okay, we only got one question. We got to make this an important
And
question.
Chef's all serious, too. We need to think
What's
about
the meaning of life? Why are we here? Right? These are great questions.
Stan just walks up. Why haven't I got my period yet?
Little boy, you have not gotten your period yet because boys do not get periods. Your two friends suffered from a colon infection and your other friend Kyle was lying about it. You are a boy and you will never get periods because you're a boy. You're a boy, and I like how he ends this. You are a little boy with titties.
My child, you are a boy. Boys do not get periods. That's only for girls. Your friends were bleeding a little bit out of their asses because of an acute colon infection, and your friend Kyle simply lied about it.
How do you know that?
You will hit puberty when the time is right, but you will never have a period because you are a man with titties.
You are a little man with titties. And then he gets the
It's with titties. That pop, that's the best part of the episode. That feels like it's the whole punchline of this whole episode. You are a little man with titties.
Because you are a man.
Yeah.
Thus spake the Lord. And then
he bounces, and then Mr. Garrett's like, wait a minute, that's our question? And he's like, I will be back in 2,000 more years to answer another. And he bounces, and Stan's like, you see? Oh, well, looks like I wasn't supposed to get my period. And he's all excited. Then he ends the episode by singing this classic Ode to Long song. Auld Lang Syne, whatever. When all could ever be forgotten. So that's the song. And that is how the episode ends. Now, during the credits, as Stan continues to sing it, he then gets beat the shit out of by the town, it sounds like. Get him! They all start charging him. And then the episode ends. So that, guys, is your episode of Are You There, God? It's me, Jesus. And now, we're going to get into...
What did Kenny say?
What did Kenny say? What did Kenny say, ladies and guys and gentlemen? And that's it. We didn't know.
Little men with titties.
And little men with titties. We're gonna go over what did Kenny say? What did Kenny say? So this episode, Kenny does have a little bit of lines here. Early on in the episode, Cartman turns up and he says, yes, man. And Kyle says, what, fat ass? And Cartman says, I became a man. I started puberty, yes. And then Kenny says, what? Later on, Stan says, dude, Cartman can hit puberty before us. And Kyle says, well, maybe we'll get ours soon, too. I want to go home and see if I'm bleeding out my ass. And Kenny says, me too. He heads home. And as we mentioned at the McCormick Shack, the restroom, Kenny reads from the South Park Enquirer on the pot. And the stool drops into the toilet, and Kenny gets up to check it out. And Kenny, seeing the red streak, exclaims, woohoo! He's excited. Later on down in the store, Stan says, come on, Cartman, we have to make plans for New Year's. And Cartman says, hold your horses, guys. It's very important for me to help you. Let's see, does my office complete protection during heavy flow? This makes out nuts. You can stop it if I did insurance. This one's got wings, you guys. Kenny storms in and rushes in and says, you guys, I did it. I got my very own period. Cartman, please. You did? And Kyle, yeah, you got your period too, Kenny? And Kenny was like, yeah, it was awesome. I was just sitting down and then I got my period. And Cartman, all right. This is so stupid. Anyway.
So stupid.
Oh my God. So Cartman says, look, Kenny. Oh no, Cartman says, well, welcome to the club, Kenny. You got your period. So now you're a man. We can hang out together on New Year's Eve. But first, you need to buy some maxi pads to shove in the back of your pants so you don't get your blood on your underwear. And Kenny's like, woohoo! And then Stan says later on, so you guys aren't going to spend New Year's Eve with us? And Cartman says, look, I'm a shit people. We can't spend New Year's Eve with a couple kids. Did you get your maxi pads, Kenny? And Kenny says, no, all I could get was a couple of tampons. And Cartman says, tampon? What's tampon? And Kenny's like, see, a tampon is what you stick up your ass so you don't bleed. And then Cartman goes, yeah, does that hurt? And I just like Kenny's response, a little.
Like it's comfortable and it feels good.
A little. And then Cartman later on says, got his moon. And Kenny says, with fine pendant on his hand and purple cape, damn it, here. And then Cartman says, and I'm here, guys, earthly delight. So this is the first meeting of our club routine, so we got the periods. We're supposed to talk about our periods and boys. Let's talk about boys first. I think Craig is pretty cool, but I don't think Clyde's very cool.
I think Clyde is kind of cute, but Craig is definitely cooler than Clyde. It's like, wait a second, what's going on here, boys?
And then Kenny says, yes, I agree. I think Craig is 1,000 times as cool as Clyde. There doesn't really seem to be a doubt. And then Cartman says later on, now the word is spirituality. I believe that the goddess in me is my spirit here because she, and then Kenny says, ow. And Cartman says, quiet, Kenny. God lives in all of us. And Kenny again says, ow. And Cartman says, God damn it, Kenny, shut your head up. And then Kenny, as we mentioned, passes out. Blood spews out from him. And then Kyle just goes, whoa, dude. That's it. That's what Kenny said. So
That's what Kenny said.
All right, that's what Kenny said. Scoop, why don't you start us off on some of this trivia? Go ahead, Maestro. Take it away.
Originally, season 3 was planned to end with Mr. Hanky's Christmas Classic. The episode before, Are You There, God? It's Me, Jesus. However, Comedy Central wanted South Park to make an episode regarding the arrival of the new millennium, the year 2000, because every show was producing Y2K episodes. So now, if you actually go back into the episode and you go to a minute and 14 seconds in and you pause it, you actually see a Reaper standing there with the cane that says 1999 on it, and then right next to it is a baby. It's got a little thing going around that says 2000. I thought that was actually pretty cool. So as a way of saving time and money, frames from Mr. Hanky's Christmas Classic are used. For instance, the scan of the colon infection is the X-ray scan from Mr. Hanky's intro song. Also, Jesus has a picture of himself and Santa performing their duet. This is the first appearance of God. Kenny was seen reading a magazine backwards. I forgot to bring that up. I wanted to bring that up. That was fucking hilarious. Jesus' house number is 80122. This is also the zip code for Littletown, Colorado, where Eric Stowe, one of the...
Littleton, Colorado.
Littleton. What did I say? Littletown, didn't I?
Yeah. Like Little Town, like Little People or something.
Little people. Cartman,
but he's right. That is a real zip code here. My zip code here is 80223. I don't know what Joe's is.
That's cool. Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Kenny seem to be unaware of how male puberty works, which is like, I think we all kind of learn, what is it, like 5th grade? We kind of learned that, hey, your body's going to start going through changes. And it was like 6th grade. It was like big time. Like, yeah, you're getting hair in your crotch, boy.
Well, they haven't gone through puberty
Yeah,
yet.
Still in 3rd grade. So.
We haven't gotten the little old Junior Condoms episodes. The Mad Max ending. Don't do it. With Butters.
Wow, Butters is pretty good at that.
Just
walk away.
Just walk away. Walk away.
Whoa, yeah, whoa, guys. Butters is really good at this.
Sorry, guys, I tried.
Butters' father can be seen in the crowd outside of Jesus' house.
Yep.
Now we haven't actually gotten an episode with them in it talking.
Nope, not yet.
Not
Not until Butters' very own episode.
Yeah, he hasn't been grounded yet. You are grounded, mister.
When Kyle arrives at the bus stop and pretends he has had his period, his voice, including the accent, strongly resembles that of Butters when saying, "I'm just hanging out in my room," and then period all over the place.
Yeah, guys, I was just hanging out in my room and I period all over the place.
At the very beginning, the boys walk past the window with a guy in a long robe holding a scythe, which is 1999 on it, and that is old Father Time holding a death-like scythe. It's a little homage to how everyone thought the world was going to end on Y2K. This is the first time.
Yeah. Oh. Go ahead. I was just going to jump in. I mean, this is the first time Stan's rear was seen in the nude when he's checking, like, in the bathroom to see if he's bleeding out of his ass. No, I'm not bleeding out of my ass. Mom, well, isn't that a good thing? No. So this was the first time we actually saw Stan's bare behind, which we will get to eventually see later on when he's jacking it in San Diego. Jagged it, smack it, smack. The bullying campaign episode. Lucky Bullers, bully, trademark. This is the only South Park episode to focus on New Year's Eve. The condition whereby Stan grows breasts is actually known as gynecomastia. In real life, gynecomastia can't occur if the individual also prematurely develops facial hair, as it's a side effect from having excess estrogen, which can happen in the presence of too much exogenous testosterone that aromatizes to estrogen, especially in the presence of the enzyme aromatase or aromatose, depending on how you want to pronounce it, rather being converted into the masculinity hormone DHT, or, ready for this, dihydrotestosterone. I pronounced it right. Look at that. God, that was fucking, I should have made Scoop do that. He does all the fucking body working out, technical terms. In this episode, Kenny's bathroom is very clean and it looks the same as Cartman, but later in Cartman joins Nambla, his bathroom is very dirty and unkept, like it should be. After Dr. Festo hands Stan the bottle of hormone pills, the label changes from pure hormones, 1 tablet daily, to hormones, 1 tablet weekly, constantly through shots. Also, when Dr. Festo hands Stan the bottle and he takes it outside, there is no cork on it. However, after a close shot of the bottle, a cork appears, but Stan removes it. This was also the first episode to feature Eliza Schneider and Mona Marshall providing the voices for the female characters following, of course, Mary Kay Bergman's death. Joe, why don't you read us some of the pop culture?
The title of this episode is a play on the book Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume, which is about a 6th grade girl who tries to find her religion and goes through preteen issues like getting her first period. While on the pot, Kenny reads the South Park Inquirer, which is believed to be a parody of the National Enquirer. Cartman says his mom gave him the book Women Who Run with Wolves, a best-selling novel by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, which is helping him find out all about his, Kenny's, and Kyle's goddess powers. At the end of the episode,
let's talk about how awesome that name is, real quick.
Right?
Goddess powers.
Pinkola Estes.
Pinkola.
Goddess powers.
Yeah.
There's this female that I met at work. I'll tell you guys about her off air. And anyway, I'm like, well, you work here? Holy shit. Go ahead. Anyway.
At the end of the episode, Stan performs an a cappella version of Auld Lang Syne, which is a Scots poem by Robert Burns, who also...
Continuity. Go into the continuity. Yeah.
Despite seeing God in this episode, Garrison becomes an atheist in the two-parter Go God Go and Go God Go 12. However, Mr. Garrison did not expect God to look so odd, so Mr. Garrison may have remained skeptical. Cartman, Kyle, and Kenny gather for their period meeting in Cartman's clubhouse, which he and Kenny built in clubhouses. A jackophsaur can be seen in the news in France, and Chinese dodgeballers can be seen in the news in China.
That's right. Well, there you go, guys. That's your continuity, trivia, and pop culture. Now we're going to get into some of our top likes and dislikes, and we shall be done. So let's start here with some of your top moments. JV, you put the Rod Stewart is old jokes.
Yeah, it just, and maybe that's because my mom was like such a big fan of his, and I just didn't like the music. He did that when, I mean, Maggie May is a good song, but that's about it. So I just like them bagging on him being old.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was funny. He pooped his pants. I pooped my pants.
Yeah. I pooped my pants.
That's actually a pretty iconic thing as a South Park fan. The dun 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 dun.
Poop my pants. Yeah.
So it's pretty synonymous. The next one here you put is they obviously couldn't use the casino by name or anything like that, but they were trying to clearly mimic the Rio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, and they did a good job of it. You thought they did a great job of it.
Yeah. If you like look at
the Rio Grande Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas.
Yeah, they called it the Copa. That's why I had my name as Copa earlier.
Gotcha.
But and like if you look at the illustration they did side by side with a picture of the Rio, it's pretty well done. It's pretty spot on while probably illegally covering their ass at the same time.
Okay. The next one here, Cartman, here's what you wrote here, Scoop. But Cartman gung-ho about him having his period. You like that?
They have no knowledge about this. I don't even think Google was even a thing in 1999, or like even a way for them to look this up. But the fact that he's just like, I got my period, guys. It's like, and he's going through puberty, and it's like, man, it's so stupid. I swear, if I ever hear a little boy in real life talking to my daughter about him having his period, I'm just gonna die.
Let me counter argue here. Cartman doesn't have a father figure, so the only person in his household that's technically his father or his mother probably has a period, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, she's a hermaphrodite. Wait, do hermaphrodites have periods?
I don't. Let's not go down that.
Yeah,
that's not.
But
yeah,
I guess it would be the choice of the dad or the parents. When I don't know. Anyway, so but that being said, obviously she gave birth to Cartman, right? Is that no? She didn't. No, yeah, she did because we find out. We find out later when Scott Tannerman returns that was all a lie.
Right. No, and I understand that, but
so she had Cartman. She's not a hermaphrodite.
No, I know that, but I'm saying she's keeping the lie right now, so she may not have.
But that being said, she probably still has her period.
Yes, yeah, that part you're right.
So this is probably all Cartman grows up, and that's probably all around, Scoop. Maybe that's all he knows, what puberty is and periods.
Maybe. Okay.
Next up, you put Jesus and Stan praying to God. You like that, Scoop?
That's pretty. The fact that they aren't getting answered, and they continuously, like when they don't get an answer, they go back and pray the same thing over and over. It's just kind of like a play on what like people do now when they try to pray. It's like you're praying to God to solve your problem. You know?
Yeah. Then you also put Jesus not really knowing what's going to happen in the New Year's itself. I like that as well. Like, because no one really knew what was going to happen. You really don't know what's going to happen day to day.
What's gonna happen, Jesus? Oh,
I don't know. Of course, the club for teens who got their period, that was hilarious, Scoop.
That was funny. And then we
Stand on hormones.
Stand
on hormones.
I'm gonna take my hormones, guys.
And then, as we mentioned, the punchline of this whole episode, because you're a man with titties, thus spake the Lord. All right, Joe, tell us about your top dislike here.
Like I was just all the Y2K hysteria. Instead of being able to look back at it and laugh, I just am reminded of how stupid people are and just how much stupider they've become over the last 20 years that I can't even laugh at Y2K jokes.
Right? It puts you in an awkward situation because you're like, it's really stupid how they, but then you like look at today and it's like, but it's even stupider now.
Yeah.
There's no irony. There's no funny. There's nothing. It's just sad.
Right.
Yep.
I'd say like that and the OJ trial were just like bigger turning points in society than we've realized yet.
Because then that's when, if the gut don't fit, you gotta quit.
Right. Well, yeah, and just like the celebrity worship and just how much we've paid attention to them since OJ. But before I go too further, but yeah, the Y2K thing, just like it just doesn't. It was kind of funny back then, and it's just not funny now.
So, other than like the conclusion of this episode with you're just a man with titties. Like, I really didn't like this whole episode, to be quite honest. Like, it's just kind of a filler episode. And to me, as you can tell by them, it sounds like they did not want to make this episode. Like, if they were going to end on Mr. Hanky's Christmas Classics, the network asked them to make this episode, and then they are going to come out with one more. So that tells me that they looked at this episode and went, we really didn't try our best to end the season with this. Let's make another episode and try again.
And when I read in the trivia, as a way of saving time and money, they used frames from Mr. Hanky's Classic. So that in itself kind of solidifies. Yeah, definitely.
And that's fine. I mean, they were not expecting this. They thought that the season was going to end on a musical.
Yeah.
Which, if you're trying to monetize and market, that's what you're trying to go with. We'll end on this season.
They had an album for it. They had videos. They had like a whole thing ready for it, but then
exactly. So, well, guys, that's our top dislikes and likes there for you here on another edition of Check My Bowels. You guys, this is episode number 50. Episode number 50. Now, normally in traditional weekly podcasts, when you get to episode number 52, that means you've been doing it for one full year. However, because of all the additional extra content and episodes we have done, that's not going to happen. So you'll have to probably, this is going to come out this next week. So we'll have 52 by the end of November. We'll have 3 or 4 more episodes in December. So we're probably looking at about episode 57 is going to probably be our 1-year anniversary of Suck My Balls. So if you're listening to the show, do me a favor. I don't care if you have the best recording equipment. Pull it out on your phone for all I care. Pull out a voice memo. Send a congratulations, 1 year to Suck My Balls, and we'll play it right here, and I'll edit it in throughout the episode. Oh, yeah. And if you also have any comments about Suck My Balls ever, if you don't want to write an email, send a voice memo, and I'll put you into the show. It's really easy. I just drag and drop, and if you're loud, try not to be loud, obviously. Like, if you're in the middle of a bus stop or subway, and I can't hear you, but if you're walking somewhere quietly or even in your house, and you just want to send a quick voice memo, send it over. I'll include it in the show. But yeah, send us your feedback. 1-year anniversary, 57th episode, New Year's 2021 coming to you right here on Check My Bowels. I'm your host on the scene where the air is clean and I'm lighting up green. Your boy MSG. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. Check out Hami Media Group on Twitter where I manage that. You can also check out the R&R Podcast Network where we're hosted there and RatSaladReview.com where we're hosted. You can also check out the Impact Attack, like the Fuse podcast, professional wrestling reviews that I do there. As well as you can check out the Smack Attack. I produce that show. Drops every Saturday on Hami Media Group and hackerhami.podbean.com. I also have the New Force Order podcast, which is out right now, and the Star Trek podcast, which is out right now. And I edit a lot. Joe, you don't believe in the Beatles?
I just believe in me. I just believe in me. Yoko and me.
Yoko and you. Well, that's where we're going next week, as we're going to be playing some recorders and looking for the brown note. Are you going to be looking for the brown note here tonight? Taking a shit in your house? I don't know. What are you doing?
Always. I shit at least 3 times a day, motherfucker.
Okay. Joe, you going to be using the brown note tonight?
Nope. I have tapings tonight and most of this weekend. I'm running all over creation.
So when are you leaving for Utah?
I have a TV taping that's not going to start until at least 7 or 8 tonight. After that, we're leaving 6 o'clock in the morning or so.
So when do you leave here from Colorado?
Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, going straight to Utah. Taping starts at 7. Doing that, turning back around and coming straight back to Colorado.
Jesus Christ. Well, have fun with that, Joe. You can follow him on places at JV Vernola, something,
Yep, it's at JV Vernola on Twitter and Instagram, twitch.tv/JV the 9. And I can't advertise myself on social media for the next month.
Okay. On Jackson Scoop, that's where you can find him on Instagram if you want to just hang out, chat with him.
Jackson_Scoop.
Jackson_Scoop. And of course you can follow us on everywhere at Suck My Balls Pod on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook at South Park Pod. As we mentioned, send us your voice memos, suckmyballspod@gmail.com. We will include it in the show. 57th episode, 1-year anniversary coming 2021. This has been another edition of Check My Balls.
Check my balls.
And as Mr. Hankey mentioned in the last episode, if you don't like it, you can just suck my small little balls.
Check my balls.
Check my balls.
Check my balls.
What is that? It's my balls. God damn it, Cartman. How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison? Holy shit, dude.